Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching The Equalizer 3, directed by Antoine Fuqua and starring Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning. Now, the Equalizer film series is loosely based off of the TV series of the same name, but it was mainly used as a vehicle to show an aging Denzel Washington in an action film scenario that basically comes across as a better equivalent to what I like to call dad movies. Movies usually starring an older male protagonist who gets to show off in an action film setting that you can bond with your dad with by watching. If films are cinematic junk food, if films are cinematic junk food, this basically replaces candy and soda with a few beers and pretzels. And I can think of worse things to enjoy. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story revolves around Robert McCall, played by Denzel Washington, who has discovered an infamous mafia that happens to be collaborating with Syrian terrorists in Sicily, Italy. So while Robert McCall happens to get to know the people there after he gets injured in one of his latest missions, he finds that not only does the public respect him and they happen to embrace him as one of their own, but they're worth protecting from the mafia, as it seems that they're terrorizing the populace, and they and the city is in desperate need of someone to protect them. But that's all I'll say about the story. Now, Robert McCall's character throughout most of the other Equalizer films has come across various other characters who are dealing with criminal enterprises, and he violently corrects them in the only ways he knows how. In the first film, it was him basically taking out criminals while dealing with his own obsessive compulsive disorder, and also at the same time turning the hardware store he worked at into his own R-rated version of Home Alone. The second film gave us a bit more of that, but I felt that the second movie gave us a little bit too much of the same when in comparison to the first film, especially in the scenes that were without any action going on. The third film not only changes locations to Italy, but it changes uh, McCall's perceptions. He's getting to near the end of his career, and when he realizes he's not getting any younger doing this, so he generally sees these people as not only worthy of protection, but also worthy of basically building a new life around. He gains friends. He happens to get into the good graces of a local doctor named Enzo. He even ends up working with a CIA agent played by Dakota Fanning so they can help bring a lot of these Italian gangsters into justice. The film is about as much as about Robert McCall giving up the whole crime fighting thing while also going on one final mission in order to ensure that his new home is generally safe. And because of that, it's surprisingly wholesome in certain scenes when it doesn't have R-rated violence going on. Though said violent action scenes are generally cathartic, and the blood and guts strung throughout definitely earn that R rating, particularly in its grisly opening scene. If I had a few criticisms, it would be that the main villains are kind of generic when it comes to their motivations and when it comes to their overall characters, and the film can be a little slow in places, particularly in the second act. But I think out of all the films, it has the best action out of all the Equalizer films, and I think the way it ends is probably going to be the kind of ending that most people will be satisfied with. Especially since it feels like it wraps up every loose end that McCall had in the other movies, anyways. That's why I'm going to give Equalizer 3 an 8 out of 10. See you next time.